And finally, list the 3 enemies that Doctor Who has faced the most over the course of the series in order of the frequency with which he's faced them. Most frequency first.
Okay, now the fun and slightly uncomfortable stuff. It can't be denied, I believe, that Ovid enjoys writing these portraits of perversion and of unlawful love, in part because he, not to put too fine a point on it, enjoys it. He is also, I think, at the same time demonstrating to his audience that they are hypocrites if they claim that they don't get off on this. Is he wrong that his entire audience is in some sense kinky? Maybe, but I think he firmly believes that everybody has their kinks. And this is the reason for the way he portrays Orpheus, because Orpheus ends up demonstrating that all love is in a certain sense wrong and perverted. In any case, it's clear that Ovid is using these portraits of perversion as a way of piercing the veil of Augustus's family legislation. That is, Augustus, he's saying by implication, seems to think that everybody's desires are normal, and that all it takes is a little bit of legislation to make sure that nobody commits adultery and everybody has the number of children they're supposed to have. But really, when you look at us as human beings, we all are perverted. And this is where he uses prurience. Prurience is simply taking pleasure in the sexual pleasures of others. And that's what Ovid seems to be doing in many places all the way through the Metamorphoses. And to set this up further, I want to play a scene from Spartacus, which, although it's obviously made in the 60s, the 1960s, and not all the way back in ancient Rome, nevertheless captures some of the erotic spirit of ancient Rome very, very well. As you watch this clip, I want you to think about how the first part, the part in the bath, relates to the second part, the part on the balcony. That is, how does the erotic talk in the bath lead to the talk about the majesty of Rome that Laurence Olivier gives in the second part of the scene on the balcony.
Fetch a stool, Antoninus. In here with it. That will do. Do you steal, Antoninus?
No, master.
Do you lie?
Not if I can avoid it.
Have you ever dishonored the gods?
No, master.
Do you refrain from these vices out of respect for the moral virtues?
Yes, master.
Do you eat oysters?
When I have them, master.
Do you eat snails?
No, master.
Do you consider the eating of oysters to be moral and the eating of snails to be immoral?
No, master.
Of course not. It is all a matter of taste, isn't it?
Yes, master.
And taste is not the same as appetite, and therefore not a question of morals, is it?
It could be argued so, master.
That will do. My robe, Antoninus. My taste includes both snails and oysters.
Antoninus, look. Across the river. There is something you must see. There, boy, is Rome. The might, the majesty, the terror of Rome. There is the power that bestrides the known world like a colossus. No man can withstand Rome. No nation can withstand her. How much less a boy? There's only one way to deal with Rome, Antoninus. You must serve her. You must abase yourself before her. You must grovel at her feet. You must love her. Isn't that so, Antoninus?
So Dalton Trumbo's screenplay, based on the novel by Howard Fast, makes this connection that I think Ovid is also making in the way that he uses rhetoric to frame these portraits of unlawful, perverted love. I hope it wasn't lost on you that Laurence Olivier's character there is talking in erotic terms about his relationship with Rome, and saying that, in fact, he enjoys performing the same function in his erotic relationship with Rome that it's clear that he wants to force on the Tony Curtis character in the preceding bath scene. And both parts of the scene clearly lie outside the bounds of the Augustan family legislation. And in 1960 America, they clearly lay outside the bounds of quote-unquote normal sexual practice. So Trumbo and Fast are doing the same thing that Ovid is doing with these portraits of perversion, which is more or less saying that everybody is kinky, everybody is perverted. And as I said before in relation to Ovid, Ovid is saying, you are a hypocrite if this doesn't turn you on. Here's the way he puts it in the story of Mira in Book 10. We're on page 239 of Melville's translation. In that incestuous bed the father took his flesh and blood, and calmed her girlish fears and cheered her bashfulness. Maybe to suit her age he called her daughter, and she him father, names to seal the crime. Filled with her father, Mira left the room, his wicked seed within her tragic womb. The crime conceived. The next night saw the deed doubled, and that was not the end. At last, after so many times, eager to know who was the girl who loved him, Kinairos brought in a lamp and saw his crime and her, his daughter. Sex, Ovid is saying, is uncontrollable, and fantasies are uncontrollable. Ovid is trying to point out to his Roman audience that our myths indicate about us that we are not the upstanding moral agents that Augustus wants us to be.